normally the resident doctor was on a vacation. So they brought in this hotshot doctor, this Iranian doctor, and he came in, and I looked at him, and I looked right at him. I go, "Are you here for me?" He goes, I go, "Have you been sent?" He goes, "I've been sent for you." I go, "You're the one. You're going to fix me." Because I was planning on dying.
Wow.
That's the weird thing.
Wow. What was going through your mind at that point, Dad?
That I was going to die. I even asked Tanya if she wanted to stick around or go with me, because I knew I was going to die.
Yeah.
So it was really bad, but I got in there, and then they came and told her, they said, "Hey, his staff's throughout his whole body. I mean, his muscles are infected and everything, and the odds of him living through that are very low, but if you let him stay where he's at right now, he'll be dead tomorrow."
Welcome to the Drop In with Pindy podcast from Warriors TMA Academy, a podcast for everyone from business inspirational leaders, combat sports enthusiasts, martial artists, and fitness fans. Together, we can build our self-discipline, confidence, and positive mindsets through great leaders. Now, here's your host, coach and former pro fighter, Pindy Matahar.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode here of the Drop In with Pindy podcast. I am honored and super excited for this podcast because I've got my coach, someone that's been a huge impact in my life, Mr. Erik Paulson, all the way from Orange County, California. Thank you.
Orange County, the OC.
The OC. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your huge, busy schedule.
It's not that busy.
And come down here and obviously explain to all our listeners out there of your amazing story. I want to go back of when you first started martial arts to everything you've achieved from your fight career to the people you've coached, becoming one of, if not the best coach in mixed martial arts history.
Thank you.
But to get started, I want to go to 2018 because that's where we had a tour booked with you here in the UK, and we got a dreaded phone call off Tanya to say that the tour's cancelled because you ended up in hospital and basically fighting for your life. So probably one of your biggest fights of your whole life. Forget mixed martial arts, forget all of that. 2018, just explain to us of what happened there.
Well, so I woke up one morning, and when I woke up, I felt like I had the flu, but it was worse. And I kept telling Tanya when I was waking up, I was choking.
Yeah.
And I was having problems breathing, and I was choking. And I told her, I said, one of these mornings I'm going to wake up dead.
Wow.
Get it?
Yeah.
Wake up dead.
Wake up, yeah.
So, but for real, I literally thought I was going to not wake up. I thought I was going to die in my sleep. I was having, for quite some time, I was having issues breathing. So I got offered a match with Mark Schultz on Metamoris.
Right, yep.
And Mark Schultz was Olympic gold medalist. Him and his brother were the two most accomplished wrestlers in the history of wrestling. Their accolades together, Dave and Mark Schultz, and they offered me a match with him. Mm-hmm. And then they talked about it. So I started training to see where I was at with my conditioning. And when I started rolling, I was rolling regularly, and I was like, man, I'm just like having a problem getting a deep breath. And I was kind of questioning, I wonder if I have a heart issue or something. I know like Ken Shamrock was walking up some stairs, and he was having a hard time catching his breath. And I'm like, maybe I have a heart valve issue or something.
Right.
And this had been going on for about a year.
Wow.
So what happened is I had a staph infection that was in my chest.
Okay.
And what happened is because I had so much damage in my neck from training, I had 5 bone spurs, 4 calluses. My throat was flat. I'd been going to the throat specialist to have him look at my throat because I was having problems breathing.
Yeah.
And what happened is my throat was flat. My windpipe was flat.
Crushed.
That wasn't like, it was crushed.
Crushed.
And the throat doctor looked at me, he said, your throat's flat. Do you get in a car accident? And I said, no. He goes, well, what do you do? He goes, I notice you have a lot of dust in your nose and your throat's really raw. And I said, I yell every day. And he goes, you yell, what's all the dust from? I go, I have a gym and a warehouse.
Yeah.
And I'm there every day, all day long. I train the fighters in the day and I teach my night classes. And I yell. He goes, well, you might want to not yell so much because it's affecting your throat. And you should also clean your nose out every day with saline because
Okay.
it gets rid of the dust. So that was one thing to help my breathing.
Right.
And so what happened is this staph infection, because my throat was so damaged. So when I originally went to Edinburgh, Scotland with Rick Young, he brought me out into a pasture, cow pasture, into this with this little teeny, it looked like a lawnmower hut where they store all the stuff to mow the lawns there. And I go, what is that? He goes, wait till you walk in, you're going to be surprised. I walked in, it was all matted and they had these huge thick mats for throwing. And he goes, some of the top judo players in the world train here.
Wow.
And you would never know it because it looked like 100 or a 200-year-old stone lawnmower hut, like a hut. It was just a little building, and that's where all the judo guys were going to train. Billy Cusack, Mark Preston, and then Mandy and all these people that he had, Graham Randall. And so when I went there, Rick brought me in, and I jumped on the floor, came in, and one of the girls went like this and went belly down, and they go, ready, go. And I go, what do you want me to do? And he goes, try to turn her over or choke her. So I was like, well, why would I attack her arms or her neck when she's defending? Why wouldn't I just attack her legs? Because, so I wrapped her ankle and I started cranking on her leg, and they go, what are you doing? We don't do that crap here. And I go, I'm going for the leg. It's open. It's wide open. And they go, what are you doing? We don't do that crap here. Haven't you ever grappled before? And I go, no, today's my first day. And they go, oh, you could tell. We started laughing. But when I went there, so I was trying to lift the forehead and sneak a choke in. And they showed me how to punch a choke in. And when I got a choke in, they showed me, then I went for the Mount de Leon, which is the big figure 4 choke. And as I did it, they go, why would you do that dinosaur of a choke? And I go, well, what do you mean? And they go, that'll take too long. That's like a dinosaur choke compared to this. And they go, watch this. And they punched his wrist through, and he immediately went for a short choke and crushed my throat and went bank. And I go, and this is like 92, 91, 92, maybe 91. I don't remember. Choked me, and I said, is that legal? And he said, oh yeah, it's totally legal. I go, that's legal in grappling, in competition. They go, yeah. And I go, what do you call it? He goes, short choke. So I came back to America and I started using it in class.
Yeah.
And I kept hunting the short choke, punching the knuckles through the back of the well here.
Yeah.
Going bap, 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 and lifted the forehead, and then using the elbow on the temple to lift the head backwards and then slide it in. And so guys are like, wow, that works really well. What is that? And I go, it's a short choke. And they go, wow, I've never seen that. Is that legal? I go, yeah. And they go, what? Where'd you learn that? And I go, Scotland. The judo team in Scotland uses it, and they submit people right away with that short choke. And I go, it's a lot easier to get that on than the big choke. And so anyways, I taught it to a lot of people. And when you teach something, what do you got to do? You got to let them put it on you. And I said, that's not right. So you gotta put it on, you gotta drop it down, and then you gotta really crush the throat. You gotta flatten. So I let everyone do it to me. So in doing that, my throat got my throat got crushed. So it was flat. So now my throat's flat. So every time I'm eating food, I'm choking. Like I'm choking all the time. I'm eating something and I'm choking. I'm always coughing and choking. And it was because I flattened my throat by teaching it to flattened my throat by teaching the short choke to everybody. And then, so through time, I had that happen. From letting everyone choke me, I trained a lot of police, and I would go to teach the choke to the police, and that choke became illegal. The police can't do that choke. You can't, because it's a windpipe. You flatten the windpipe, you're not allowed to do that choke, so it's illegal. So then I had to teach this choke to all of them, and I had to test all of them to see if they had it. So I lined them up, and I sat down, and there was 30 police officers, and they all got to choke me, and I let them choke. And there was only one guy that got it. One guy, but everyone choked me. So after that, I would eat soup for a couple days because I had to, because my throat was so bruised. But I thought it was cool that, that I was training. That's how I got to train my defense, not my defense, but the strength of my neck, not knowing that I was creating calluses and bone spurs. I didn't know. So another time I was training, and well, this is over and over, but I had somebody stack me. They threw my legs over my head, and then they sprawled on me. So my legs got thrown over my head, and I tried to shoulder roll, but I couldn't. And as my legs went over my head, this person sprawled on me, and my neck popped, and my fingers went numb, all 3 fingers. And so my fingers went numb, and this was going to happen over and over through a period of 5 years. So for 5 years, my neck was deteriorating because I had herniated discs in my neck from that incident where my legs were thrown over my head and this heavyweight sprawled on me. So all of a sudden, I go to a chiropractor, and he said, "Hey, in order for me to fix your neck, you need to buy 65 sessions from me." So I go, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I think I could fix your neck by then." Never looked at an x-ray, never looked at an MRI. What did he do? He adjusted my neck 3 days a week. I'm swearing his name in the middle of the night. I'm waking up and swearing this guy's name. And finally I go, "Hey, you need to figure out what's going on in my neck, because you're adjusting me and my neck's hurting worse than it was before."
Making the situation worse.
Yeah, so I went and got an MRI, and the first one didn't come out, so they had to use dye.
Right.
And then they used the dye, and they did it, and they go, "Oh my gosh, you've got like 4 herniated discs in your neck." And it was from that incident where my legs were whipped over my head and this person sprawled on me. So the guy says, right away, I said, you can't adjust my neck anymore. So I go, give my sessions away. Yeah. I know I paid for them, but I don't want to, you can't touch my neck anymore. Yeah. So now what I'm doing, I could put a belt over my door, and I put my neck and I would hold it, and I would hang myself, and I would just do it for 2 or 3 seconds. Yeah, my students used to see me like put the belt over the door and hang just so I'd feel better. And they go, "No, stop." And I go, no, I'm adjusting myself. They thought I was trying to hang myself. But I was doing that for 2 years. Every day I'm adjusting my neck. It's a compression.
Yeah. No one advised to get operated.
Nobody could help me. So, I mean, I went to a chiro and it hurt me. So I started doing this on my own. And everyone every day would have to pull my neck, in order for me to elongate it. And so now I'm waking up in the middle of the night, and my neck's hurting, and then I get up in the morning, I can barely lift my head up. So now when I go to the gym, I have to get on the neck machine and do neck exercises, just so I can lift my head up. So I go, well, something's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Anyways, the amount of damage I had done on my neck from training and chiropractic and my feet going over my head and someone sprawling on me, just a mixture of the front and the back, my neck was so damaged. That's where all the inflammation and everything was. And since there was so much damage to that neck, that's where I got a staph infection that had built up, and it got located here and in my chest. And so now that's what I was getting sick from,
Yeah.
When I woke up, and I didn't realize that I didn't have the flu. I was completely septic. Septic meaning I had a staph infection that was here, and it was wrapped around my spinal cord, and it was at the top, almost at the top,
Yeah.
and it was almost piercing it almost got into my brain, and it almost got into my heart, and they thought for sure that it got in, and I was having people use a buffer on me, on my back and my neck, because I was in so much pain. And this is before I went in the hospital, and when I closed my eyes, I would see 100 faces in like 30 seconds. I go like this, I'd see 100 faces going pop, 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 pop. So I couldn't close my eyes. I was super tired. Oops. My neck was hurting. So I had a hard time lifting my head up. And then I turned on the TV, and I'm like, I'll just watch a little bit of the news or something. And the energy from the TV was so strong, I couldn't even watch the TV. So I had to turn the TV off. So now I'm sitting in the living room. Tanya took off to teach one of my camps. She went there and I couldn't go. So we had to have Coach Ben go in my place to teach, thank God. And next thing you know, I'm at home just sitting on the couch by myself in so much pain. I was just rocking back and forth to ease the pain. And I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. So I went to the urgent care 3 times. And not once did they say, hey, you're in bad shape. You need to go to the emergency room. So I went to the urgent care, and they gave me Decadron, which is a steroid, so I could breathe. And they go, oh, maybe you have the flu. We'll give you Theraflu. And they gave me these painkillers because I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
But I couldn't sleep. So next thing you know, I'm just sitting there. I can't watch TV. The light was affecting me. I closed my eyes. I'd see faces. And then I go to open my pill bottle to take a pain pill.
Yeah.
And I can't touch. I had no power in my hands to do this. I couldn't do this. So I grabbed the pill bottle. I couldn't open it. So now I can't even take a pain pill. I couldn't grab it and twist it. So because my neck, much pressure was affecting my arm was hot. So I had a staph infection all throughout my whole body. I was completely septic. They gave me 1 day to live. They said, if you didn't get in here today, tomorrow you probably would have been dead or quadriplegic. Wow. And they said, so when I got in there, they didn't know what was wrong with me. And they tried to get me in the MRI.
Yeah.
And I'm claustrophobic. And it's weird. Someone said, how can you grapple so much and have people lay on you all the time? I go, that's why I'm so good at getting out of stuff. You're on top of me. I'm getting out. I'm really good at escaping. I'm not good at being on my back and having people lay on me. And so Andy Nugent, I just found out, has the same thing. It just kind of suddenly came out of nowhere.
And he has it as well.
Yeah. Yep. He started getting claustrophobic. And then when you get hot, like for me, if I get hot, I get claustrophobic and I start freaking out. I have to sleep with my feet out. I can't cover myself. If I get hot, I get claustrophobic and I'll have a panic attack. I had a panic attack on the airplane. I was sitting in business class and I had my earphones on and I just got a massage. I just got someone to do a cellular release on me.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
No.
Where they dig in deep and then they pull all your obstructions out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cellular release is amazing. You pull out like injuries that your body's had for a long, long time. Like you would do really well with the cellular release because the amount of damage that your body takes from fighting, your body holds on to that and it remembers all of it.
Impact.
And then it's funny because when they start doing cellular release, they drum.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. 4 hours. It's drumming and fire breathing. So you're fire breathing. And
whilst they're doing it.
Yeah, and he's working on you, and you got to keep breathing. He's working on you, and all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like I'm leaving my body. And he goes, go, just go, let it go, keep breathing. And I like left my body, and then all of a sudden all this like, he goes, you got a lot of post-life trauma. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, your past life stuff's coming out of you. And I go,
what?
So a lot of people that don't believe in past life stuff, and you do
Yeah.
a cellular release, you get that done. I'm telling you, stuff came out from a long time ago. I don't know. I think there's like Viking era stuff,
Wow.
but battle stuff. I had visions of fighting with swords and a lot of blood, and that's from the cellular release. So the cellular release I had done right before I got on the airplane, and then I sat in business class, but I had an inside seat against the window, had my earphones on, I was watching a TV show, and then all of a sudden I passed out, and I woke up, and my earphones were on, so now I'm really hot,
Yeah.
and I'm like sitting here like this, and I go, ah, 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 and I jumped up, and I climbed over the guy next to me, and I ran to the toilet, and I was sitting in there, and I got out, and the lady goes, "Are you okay?" I go, "I'm definitely not okay." And I'm like looking, and I was literally ready to pull the door open and
Yeah.
jump out of the airplane.
Jeez.
I was just freaking out. Like I couldn't even be in the tube.
Yeah.
And it was because I had this staph infection, and it had been brewing in me for like a year. And it was finally activated, and then my whole body. Oh, I also had, I was getting ozone therapy.
What's that?
Ozone is where they put ozone in your bloodstream,
Right.
and they inject it
Inject
into your
it in.
bloodstream. And then I was getting stem cell, and then I was getting, they were using a vitamin bag,
Yeah.
and they were
Dripping it.
yeah, they were giving me
Dripping it
yep, and they were giving me all this stuff, and I don't know if it was from that. I don't know why or how, but I went to the urgent care 3 times, and never once did they say, "Hey, you look like you're good." I go, "I feel like I'm dying." That's what I told them. I go, "I feel like I'm dying." They go, "You look like you're dying. You look like death." I went to the other
Yeah.
chiropractor, and he goes, "I can't really even adjust you." He goes, "You're so inflamed. I don't know what's going on." He goes, "But you look like you." I go, "I feel like I'm dying." So I went in there twice, and he goes, "Don't come back. You're like really super sick." And he didn't know what was wrong with me
Yeah.
either. And this is a really good sports chiro. And he just
No-
said,
no one can figure it out.
So go to the urgent care. The 3rd time they inject me with Decadron. When I get the Decadron injected in me, a day later, I was peeing. I had to pee all the time, and I was peeing, and my pee was sticky. That means your blood sugar is like super duper high. So, anyways, when I got in, they checked my blood sugar. My blood sugar was almost 400. They go, "You're in diabetic ketosis," and I go, "What do you talk about?" They go, "You know you have diabetes," and I go, "No, I don't." They go, "Well, you're in diabetic ketosis. What have you gotten?" And I said, "I got 3 shots of Decadron," and they go, "That will raise your blood sugar like boom."
Damn.
And so I had no idea that I was in diabetic ketosis. I had to get in the MRI in the tube, and I'm claustrophobic, so I can't get in the tube. They got me in the tube,
How
and
did
I front kicked the doctor. I was in the tube, and I kind of like was asleep, and then I
Flinched.
teeped him, and he goes, "What does this guy do?" And they go, "Oh, he's an ex-fighter." And he goes, "Yeah, you could tell." Like I kicked the doctor, and then I did a lopsaw on Tanya. They got me in the tube. It started clicking. I was asleep, and I woke up. I go, "Get me out of here!" Lopsaw, like a gibbon. I almost pulled her arm out of socket, and then they got me in again, and they put me in Twilight. Try to put me in Twilight,
Yeah.
which is they gave me a double injection, and I still woke up. So it took them 4 tries, and they finally got me in the tube.
Yeah.
They finally knocked me out, and I got in there, and I was like quiet. They go, "Holy crap, he needs to get in the ICU right now," because they saw the staph infection was throughout my whole body. And they go, "We don't know if he's going to be able to make it," or it was that bad. And they said, "We're going to give him it." So they called this hotshot doctor in from Irvine ICU, or Irvine University, because the doctor that was normally the resident doctor was on a vacation. So they brought in this hotshot doctor, this Iranian doctor, and he came in, and I looked at him, and I looked right at him. I go, "Are you here for me?" He goes, I go, "Have you been sent?" He goes, "I've been sent for you." I go, "You're the one. You're going to fix me." Because I was planning on dying.
Wow.
That's the weird thing.
Wow. What was going through your mind at that point, Dad?
That I was going to die. I even asked Tanya if she wanted to stick around or go with me because I knew I was going to die.
Yeah.
So it was really bad, but I got in there and then they came and told her, they said, hey, his staff's throughout his whole body. I mean, his muscles are infected and everything. And the odds of him living through that are very low. But if you let him stay where he's at right now, he'll be dead tomorrow. If we give him IV,
Yeah.
the odds of him coming out of it, he might live, but he'll probably be a quadriplegic, which I'd rather die anyways.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is we have to operate, and we got to do it in the morning right away. So here comes this hotshot doctor, and I looked right at him. I said, "Are you the one?" He said, "I'm the one to save you. I've been sent." And I was like, "Okay, I trust you. Thank you." So then the next morning, next morning they got me in there. The surgery was scheduled 3.5 hours on the front, 3.5 hours on the back. So I had to lay back.
Okay.
They had to sedate me and put me out, and then they had to cut my throat. And then they had to take my windpipe and move it over here. Then they had to take a spoon and a vacuum to suck out all the
Infection.
Yeah, when they cut me, I exploded with pus everywhere because I was infected. He said, "Oh my gosh," he goes, "he's so infected. How is he, not only how is he alive, but how is he walking around?" So that means I have a huge high pain tolerance.
Yep.
So that was one thing. But they cut me and they took out the 5 bone spurs, the 4 calluses. He said he straightened my throat out because I was going to have to go to a hospital or a doctor to get my throat popped open. And my throat had to stay, I had to breathe through this trachea hole for a month if I was to have that operation. But since I was under, he
popped it.
He tried to round it out. I don't know if he got it, but I think he might have.
Yeah.
But so what they did is as they did that, they found out my top 2 vertebrae, number 2 and 3, were withered down to the tip of a pencil, and the staph infection was wrapped around my spinal cord like a candy cane.
Right.
Like the candy cane.
Yeah.
But they were confused whether or not it had reached my brain, got through to my brain, through the membrane to my brain, or it pierced into my bloodstream and got into my heart. Because if either one of those happened, that was it. I was going to have some major complications. So didn't, very luckily. So anyways, they cut me, fixed the front, sucked out all the pus. Then they cut the back. They rolled me to my belly. They cut my back and my neck. Boom. Pus everywhere. And he goes, "Oh my gosh, this guy is so..."
Yeah.
So 3.5 hours in the back, and they fused 5 of my discs in the back. So if they fused 3, then your head bobs. But they put like a longer rods and looks like a railroad ties. It's metal, and they put it in the back so my head can go up and down. I could look left, I could look right. So I have limitations, but I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
And then in the front, they cut me. They took out the two vertebrae, and they put a titanium spacer and a steel cage around it.
Wow.
So I have a steel cage bolted in and a titanium spacer holding my head up.
Wow.
That's why when I grapple, I can't have somebody drop their shoulder or their forearm on me. This guy said, "Oh, when Erik demos, he looks a little stiff. That must be from years of..."
Benone.
Yeah. I go, actually, I had my neck reconstructed. But even the fact that I lived through it is a miracle.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm actually out and demoing and training and back on the mat rolling again lightly.
Yeah.
Not hard.
It's a miracle in itself.
And I can demo and I can do takedowns. I just got to be careful.
Did the doctor say anything after the operation that you could do anything again or couldn't?
He said you have limitations and you have to wait till your bone mends because it's going to grow together.
Yeah.
So I started taking liquid collagen, And liquid collagen, if you don't
That's
know,
what you're saying.
liquid collagen is by far the best thing. If you have an injury, you should take liquid collagen. It's called Amino Sculpt, and you can buy it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I get the cherry flavor, and I drink it. I'll drink a shot in the morning and a shot at night, and that heals any injuries that you have in twice the time.
Nice.
I broke my hand, I broke my ankle, I broke my heel, and I took liquid collagen. I had a 3rd-degree separation on my rib. Drank liquid collagen, is better in a week.
Wow.
And I fought with a 3rd-degree separated rib. I fixed it in a week with liquid collagen.
Wow.
The doctor said, "What have you been taking? Because you're healing amazingly." And I said, "I'm taking liquid collagen at night, and then I'm taking powdered collagen in coffee."
Nice.
Yep. So I take that in the coffee, and then I take liquid collagen. And then something that really helped me after is this company that I used to work for. I used to sell their product years ago here. I brought it here. It was called Sport Formula.
Yeah, I remember.
Sport Formula 99. And what they have is a powdered vitamin, and it's a raw vitamin. And then they have the powdered greens. Then they have the powdered collagen, which is great for me.
Yeah.
And then they have the omega-3s, Icelandic omega-3s, which is good for inflammation. And then they have this chickpea protein, which is chocolate, that doesn't give you gas. Because most people, when they take protein, they're a walking farting machine.
Yep. I know.
Yes. Don't light a match because you'll explode the building.
Literally.
The protein, most fighters, because they cut weight, they have to have protein.
Yeah.
So they take like a whey protein or an egg protein or something.
yeah.
But this chickpea protein, for some reason, it doesn't give you gas.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's a
good.
good thing. No, it's so cool to see that, because that was a big fight for us here in the UK, speaking with the likes of Dave Lee, all your affiliations or your students that are here. And when we found out in 2018 what happened, we were just no one knew. And then see you literally less than 12 months later on these mats here again, coming back 2019.
But I was like I was like Frankenstein. I was like,
but still,
I mean, the fact that I was above ground and walking, still
being able to, for us, that was like, wow. And that goes to show, like, not only your physical strength, but your mental strength, your mental state of mind, of health. Yeah.
Well, that's why the MBS, mind, body, spirit, when your mind gives up and your body's ready to quit, you have your spirit, and your spirit is who you are. It's your testicular fortitude. It's what's inside of you. It's what makes you strong. It's who you are.
Yeah.
It's your winning mindset, not just your mindset, but when you have nothing left, it's your spirit.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. 100%. And it's so good. And then seeing you yesterday doing a couple of takedowns as well, it was like, yes.
On you especially.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect it.
I didn't either.
Yeah. So it's like, yes, it's good. It's good. And then it's just going to keep on progressing. But going back now, so obviously that's been your toughest fight of your life.
Yeah, I
And
didn't mean to talk about that so much, but I do have to say,
you've come out.
It's 4 years now, but it's taken like one of the best ways I rehab myself.
Yeah.
Because I went to rehab and they were horrible. I mean, I was in the hospital for a month. When I got out of the hospital, I was in bed for 4 months. I couldn't walk. My lower back went out. So I had to learn how to re-walk. I lost my balance because your neck affects your legs and your hips. So I lost my balance. My hips would go out every day from sleeping on my side. Mm-hmm. And so I had to learn how to walk. And it was my friend that came to my house, Nick Zakulis. He stayed with me. Greg came and stayed with me and gave me support. And a lot of guys gave me support. Tanya was great. She really took care of me.
Yeah.
I had to have a bag. Mm-hmm. I had a PICC line. So they had to pump all my antibiotics in my body because remember I had a staph infection. So when they got rid of it, they had to make sure they got it all.
They got it
because it could have came back. So I had this going through my body for 4 months. I had to have a pump, and I had to have this thing changed all the time. So it was a big deal. Yeah. So, but you know, once all that was done, that was a relief. Rico Chiapparelli showed up in my hospital room and he said, you know, every time something good happens, you need to rejoice because it's like an accomplishment. It's like you just won something. Or he said, because this is your challenge. So like, you know, suddenly because I stopped eating too, I couldn't eat because all the medicine in my body made all food taste horrible, including pizza.
Really? Oh, can't imagine
Yeah,
that.
everything tastes like medicine. The cereal, everything. So I didn't eat. So I lost, you know, 50 pounds from just not eating.
Damn.
I couldn't eat. And I couldn't believe it. Like, they're like, oh, we got to make sure your blood sugar, check your blood sugar. So they're pricking my fingers all the time. And then I looked at the food that they were giving me. I'm like, this is all sugar. I mean,
No one is gonna.
yeah,
Yeah, no one.
like cereal. So I was on a diet of basically vanilla pudding.
Wow.
That's all I ate.
That's all you could taste as well.
It's the only thing I could really choke down. A little bit of cereal.
Wow.
And they're trying to make me. I had to learn how to breathe, learn how to talk.
Yeah.
I had to go through a speech course again. It was strange. I'd never had to deal with that stuff. But again, they said, you know, here comes your fight. Your fight is what's coming up. So, you know, and then COVID hit. So I was down and I put some weight. I think everyone put weight on at COVID because a lot of people were inactive.
Nothing to do.
Yeah. So what I did is I got with my friend, Mark Sells, and I say, hey, Mark, I'm going to start the Windbreaker Club back up. And he goes, what's that? And I go, we put on the Windbreakers and we box and kickbox. I go, we're going to get together and do an hour and a half training. And I want to punch 1,000 punches every session. So we're punching, we're going through all our drills and move it. So I started boxing. And the boxing got my ability to move back. It got my hands back, got my eyes back. What had happened is by laying complacent in a bed and being inactive, your brain functions shut down. So what happened with me is I forgot everything. So I remember the first day I came back to my gym, my class was packed. Everyone was there, and they were there, I think, mainly just to support me. Like, hey, he's back, you know, and I could barely do stuff. And I remember getting on the mat going, what am I going to teach?
Wow.
And I didn't want to tell anybody, but I just forgot everything. I forgot all these. I had all these chokes in my consciousness. I had all these different variations of all the different gi chokes, and I really like spent all this time to learn all these cool chokes, and I forgot everything.
Wow.
I forgot leg attacks. I mean, the only thing in the hospital, Rick Young came to see me, and Diana Rathborn came to see me, and a few people. But Rick came from Brazil. He jumped on a plane when he heard Tanya called and was crying. He jumped on a plane, showed up, and he brought 3 books. He brought a Bible. He brought Old Man in the Sea, and he brought Dirty Jokes. And he goes, which one do you want me to read to you? And I was like, well, nothing's funny to me right now because I'm in so much pain and I'm falling asleep. So I go, let's start with the Bible. So he would read me whatever I would ask him. Like he goes, what book would you like to read? And I go, Matthew, let's start there. So he would read, and then halfway through his reading, I would fall asleep. So every time he'd start reading, I'd go, and I was like, why am I falling asleep so easy? Oh yeah, Sean Connery's reading to me. He sounds like Sean Connery. So he read Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah.
And nobody ever, except for my mom or my dad, ever read a book to me before.
Wow.
While I was laying in bed. I mean,
Wow.
think about that.
That's
Who's ever like read a book to you?
No one. No one.
It's crazy.
Madden.
I mean, you know, you think about that. That's how you know who your friends are.
Yeah.
But he came and just started reading a book to me, and helped me get through these hard times while I was laying in this bed. I was in 4 different hospital rooms. My 4th room was the smallest, and Tanya had to lay, and my mom was there, and they had to trade off who's going to sleep in the room with me. And I mean, I was up all the time. They had to hold the pee container for me because I didn't. I woke up with a catheter. You know what that is?
Yeah. Right,
And and all of a sudden I wake up and I grab this tube and I go and I'm like stretching this thing and the lady's like, "No, that's attached to you." And I go, and my sister's sitting next to me. I looked at her and I go, "Hey, who stretched out my dink hole?" And I started pulling this thing. Looked like a robin trying to pull a worm out of the earth. And I was like, "What is this thing?" And they go, "That's what you're peeing into a bag through that little tube." And they put this, it's like a ball, and they put it in the tip of your wink.
Yeah.
And they stretch it out. That thing, man, that hurt. You can't pull it out. I was trying to pull it out. They're like, "Don't do that. You're going to pull it off."
That is insane.
Yeah. So I go, "Hey, take this thing out. This thing isn't working."
Yeah.
So next thing you know, Tanya and my mom, they had to hold the pee can for me. Like, you're asleep, you wake up. And I'm like, "I gotta pee." So that there it goes, that takes a lot of help with the people that are around you. They gotta pull a lot of love out of their heart to come in and do stuff like that. And it was cool that Rick came and Diana came, but they helped me through that. Got out of the hospital, and then Nick Sakulis came to my house. And he put a bidet in for me in my bathroom. A bidet, the bidet is cleans you, right? Yeah. And the best thing ever. If you don't have a bidet, get a bidet. It's the best thing ever. When everyone was fighting for toilet paper during COVID,
you didn't need to.
You don't need to. You got a bidet.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he did that, and the thing that really helped me was, we went out for a walk. We walked to the bottom of the hill, and he goes, "Can you go any farther?" I go, "I think that's about it. Let me sit down." So I sat down, and I go, "Well, we'll just walk back up." And he goes, "No." He goes, "I think you should try to walk around the block." Okay. And I go, he goes, you could do it." I go, "Oh, well, maybe I just will walk back to the house." He goes, "No." He goes, "I think you forgot who you were." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You forgot who you were." He goes, What did Erik Paulson used to do?" He goes, "You never gave up. You used to train super hard." He goes, "You walk to the bottom of the hill and you sit down." He goes, "Why don't we go around the block? You could easily do that." He goes, "You don't have to do it all at once. We could take breaks." And then all of a sudden I was like, wow.
Little fire, little fire lit up.
Yeah, he lit a fire in my ass.
Yeah.
And I forgot. I really forgot, because again, my mind got erased. So you just kind of forget who you are, and then all of a sudden it just takes a little nudge from a friend, and then all of a sudden, bang, I was like, "Oh yeah." And then he made me start walking, and then it was the walking that got my memory back,
right?
Because I started getting oxygen in my brain,
right?
And it's the lack of oxygen in your brain that makes you forget things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a secret that a lot of people need to learn.
I heard this with a lot of people that retire as well. When people retire, people work their asses off all their life to have 5-10 years of retirement enjoyment and whatever how they want to live their life. But I've heard it from friends of mine where their parents are probably retired, but then because they've got nothing to do, they deteriorate, and
because they sit around and become complacent.
Yeah, and have literally nothing to do, and then their brains.
They've lost their soul's purpose.
Yeah.
Your life purpose. What is your life purpose? That's a big thing.
Massive.
And if you're doing life work, you always will stay active, and you'll find the passion in your heart. That's life work.
Absolutely.
And you got to fulfill that contract, because before you come to Earth, you agree upon a contract, which is your life agreement. And when you come to Earth, you have to fulfill that contract. That's your objective. And that's, some people don't get to go all the way. They don't get to finish it. They may die early or something. But when you're doing life work, you get a lot of help. A lot of people, a lot of your helpers are helping you regularly.
Yeah.
And you can tell when you're on or off if you've kind of found your niche, because then you thrive.
Yeah.
And then when you're thriving, you're doing what you're sent here to do. But I'll tell you, that walk changed it. And then when I said, well, you know what, I'm gonna start to box. So I started boxing with my friend Mark,
Yeah.
and I said, we're gonna throw 1,000 punches every time we see each other. So we're going back and forth doing wall survival, catch
Nice.
all the different drills, combinations, movement,
Yeah.
and wow, just like changed me. And I lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
It helped with my blood sugar. It helped with my overall health.
Mindset as well.
Yeah, I wanted to spar, but they're like, no, you can't spar. I go, well, then let's do these drills.
Yeah.
So we just go back and forth and back and forth, and I got my hands back.
Nice.
And it helped a lot with just teaching, and then also I started doing more striking again, because I think that kind of disappeared a little bit.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
got back into the grappling, and it helped me move on the ground. So then I thought, okay, what can I get? Because I can't really lift heavy weights like I used to. What can I do? And I thought, Pilates. Oh yeah, I could do Pilates. How about a total gym, the Chuck Norris Total Gym?
I
And
remember.
I bought it. I bought it and I put it
Yeah.
outside, and I use that thing every day, and I got my strength back.
Nice.
Because you could do all part. It doesn't help you with your legs so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to do a lot of squats on that thing, but I will tell you that it's like doing gymnastics, a gymnastics warm-up routine, because it's arms, it's shoulders, it's chest, it's back.
Yeah.
You could twist with it, and it's funny because people go, hey, you look like you're getting back in shape, and you look like you're strong again, and they go, what are you doing? And I,
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris Total Gym. And they're like, come on. I go, it actually really works.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, get one.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, that's easy. And I go, yeah, but I go at the highest level. I got it at the highest inclination.
Yeah.
I do upside down push-ups on
Nice.
it. It's almost like an inclination.
Yeah.
So it's all upper here.
Nice.
And then I do all the pulls, all the triceps, all the shoulders, all the shoulders, which
Yeah.
affects my neck. Then I do hordes of flies until I can't do anymore. And then I do my arms and my triceps, my shoulders, my forearms, reverse curls for my arms.
Yeah.
And then what else? Oh, I bought a crunch machine. It's called a ab cruncher.
Okay.
And I'll do 100 ab crunches every day on that thing. And I do side bends. So I bought a ballet bar.
Yeah.
It's called a booty kicker. These things you look at and you go, infomercial, you're like,
Yeah.
that's stupid. Until you have your neck operated on and you can't do anything but that. And then when you do it, I mean, that got me back. That got my health back. With the booty kicker, I do all my leg swings and all my kicks, my squats, my knees. I do outside crescent kicks over it. I do alternate knee thrusts, alternate front kicks. I stretch. I side stretch. I do Uchimata leg swings.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I do side swings for my hips.
Yeah.
Do front swings for my hamstrings and my hip flexors.
Nice.
And then I do push-ups on it. And I have this routine, so I put it out in the grass, so I go barefoot, so I get grounded while I'm doing it. And then I have my total gym out in the back in the grass. I have the ab cruncher on the patio. And then I've got the booty kicker, which is and I do
a little circuit.
a little circuit, but I go through it like 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
I mean, and then I have to lay down and take a nap because I kick my own ass.
But that's this is
That's
it.
what you need to do.
You
Kick
need to
your
do
own
it.
ass.
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
If you're a trainer and you've trained people for so long, why can't you train yourself?
True.
I don't need a trainer. I can train myself. So I
Yep.
started training myself
Brilliant.
to get back. And that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
The Chuck Norris Total Gym. So there's different levels, but you could go buy, like if you don't want to buy a new one, buy a used one. A lot of
Yeah.
people, they get them and they don't use them. Another thing you should use is an Aerodyne. You know
What's
the
that?
Aerodyne?
No, what's that?
It's the bike with the hands. Do you have one?
Oh, that. Yeah.
You have it?
Yeah, right behind you.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
one of the best. That's
insane.
one of the best pieces of equipment you can have. And you do
Makes me
Tabatas
sick,
on that.
is. Yeah.
You know what Tabata is?
Yeah. Makes me sick, that is.
We go 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And you do it for 5 minutes. You go 30, and then rest and go light for 30 and then hard
And
for
go,
30,
yeah.
light for 30, hard. The 30-second rule. So 2.5 minutes you're doing hard, and
Yeah.
2.5 minutes you're doing light. And then you can do only your arms, you can do only your legs, or you do your arms and your legs. You can also switch a
mix it.
grip.
Oh, yeah. Never thought of that.
Yeah, that thing is amazing.
Yeah.
Every wrestling room in America has an Aerodyne in it for
Yeah.
cutting weight.
Yeah.
Aerodyne, that thing is amazing.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, a lot of people just undervalue things. You know, if you go into a gym like we have 24-hour fitness or Gold's Gym, and you walk into Gold's Gym and they have a thing called a Versa Climber,
Yeah.
and the rowing machines, those always have dust on them.
No
Why?
one sees them.
No one touches them. Why?
Too hard.
Because they're the hardest piece of
Yeah.
equipment in the room.
Too hard.
But they're the best thing for you.
Yeah.
If you're a real athlete, you need to use a Versa Climber and you need to use a rowing machine.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was talking to Crow Cop and I said, "What do you do for cardio?" He goes, "I do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here." And I go, "Like what?" And he goes, "I do 5 minutes on the Aerodyne, 5 minutes on the elliptical,
Yeah.
which is only the hand bike, the recumbent, not the elliptical, the recumbent bike,
Yeah.
which is just the pedal
Just
bike for your
moving,
hands."
yeah.
Which is another thing that if you are in lockdown and you have no piece of equipment to train, get the hand bike.
Yeah.
That thing's amazing.
I've heard,
So
yeah,
we
I've
used
seen
to
it.
have a burn machine that
I remember that burn
was
machine.
created.
Yeah.
And then another thing is I have a new thing, an old thing that I'm remaking, and it's a power neck. And, you know, they have the tough necks.
Yeah.
Those are great. They're expensive, but they're
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But I have one that's cheaper, and it's on a rubber band,
Okay.
attached to a rubber band, and you just turn forward, side, and back. And I've used that for my neck when I was fighting to get my
Yeah.
neck strong. And I found my old one, and I'm redesigning it. I'm gonna probably come out with a new one.
That's going to be awesome.
And it's cheap, and you carry it with you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take up any room.
Brilliant.
It's on a rubber cable. All you need is a pole. If I can put it around a pole somewhere,
Yeah.
that's it. I can do my neck in.
end of the ring or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I can do my neck. I'll be done with my neck in about 2 minutes.
Perfect.
It's a 2-minute workout I do every day on my neck for strength.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
It's a rubber cable from Lifeline USA,
Yeah.
and they went out of business. Remember the power wheel, the power
Yeah,
cables
yeah,
with the
yeah.
bands?
Yes.
So I brought those over to the UK. I introduced everybody in MMA to those. They were only for other athletes, and I was the one that introduced the power wheel, the power cables, the power ball, which was a
Yeah.
rubber medicine ball that you whip against the wall.
Uh-huh.
It's all core stuff. The heavy rope, the speed rope,
All of
the
that.
power push-up. I introduced that into the MMA field and started bringing it over to England or UK because because I was using it every day.
But we didn't have any of that back
And it
then.
made me so strong that I got the judo teams to pick it up.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, those cables are great for throws. I go, for shots too. And you can arm drag it, and you can shoot doubles on it.
Yeah.
You can sprawl.
Nice.
You can do focus mitts and sprawling on it.
Everything.
Wall squats, twists for your core.
Yeah.
Those make you so strong. That was another thing that got me back. I started doing power cable exercises every day, 100 squat, 25 forward, sideways, back and back. I do
Yeah.
100 squats and twists every day.
So you put yourself through pretty much another. It's almost like a fight camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it.
But I can't run.
Oh,
So I can walk, but I can't
Nice.
run. Yeah, my balance and my back, it still affects me. I mean, I might be able to do a light run,
yeah.
but you can't run like I used to.
Right.
So walking's just as good.
Mm-hmm.
Power walking,
Yeah.
do it for time.
And there you go.
So I put a headset on. I have a back brace. It's called Venom,
Yeah.
and it vibrates. You turn it on, and it vibrates, and it warms up, and it keeps your back. If you have back issues,
Yeah.
I use it on an airplane. Again,
Okay.
Nick Sakula's got it for me.
Nice.
So that thing's wonderful.
Nice.
And they have them for your shoulders and your knees too.
Yeah.
It's from Venom.
Venom.
Yeah.
We'll have to check it out, guys. Anyone listening, man, let's check it out. Get it if you need it. So it'd be cool. But obviously, as I'm sure you're aware, you've been given a second chance.
Yeah.
You've been
That's
given a second
exactly
chance.
what it is.
Before all of this happened, obviously you were very focused. You run the gym. You're doing your tours. You're doing seminars all around the world. You had your students.
I was doing too much.
Doing
I think
way
that's
too much.
why
And
I got sick.
what do you think? Yeah. And now you've been given a second chance. What's your outlook now in life in the terms of how you're seeing things now? Is it any different to what it was? Is it how is your mindset now with it?
Well, I try not to deal with nonsense.
Yeah.
I try not to talk to people that don't really care and that don't really matter,
Yeah.
because it's strange that you have a lot of people in your life that you think that are important to you, and that not everyone that smiles at you is your friend, just to let you know that. And so trying to figure that one out. So I pulled back from the public. So I spent a lot of time by myself or at home
Yeah.
with Tanya or with the students. I spend more time talking to people.
Nice.
So what happened, COVID got us on our phone, so we text. Nobody talks.
No one was picking.
Yeah,
up the
nobody
phone
picks
anymore.
up the phone. You call your friends, they don't answer their phone, but they'll send you a text.
Yeah.
So there's no face-to-face, eye-to-eye conversations. And it's weird. I saw a family at breakfast the other day, and there's 4 people. There's 2 kids and a mother and a father sitting at the table, and everyone was on their phone. So I figured they're all texting each other. So I go, hey, excuse me. I go, you guys all texting each other? And they go, what? No, get away from us, you weirdo. And I go, hold on. So am I weird or are you guys weird? Because normally
Yeah.
when you're at breakfast, that's like, that's
The-
how you start your day.
Yeah. Communication.
Like in Germany, the most important meal is the breakfast.
Yeah.
And for Italians, every meal is the most important meal. But that's time when you kind of connect and reflect.
Yeah.
So why is everyone on their phones? They're not connected. They're connected to everybody else, everything else that doesn't matter except for the things that are in front of you.
So yeah.
What?
But people don't value that.
Well,
That's the thing.
one
People-
easy way to bring people back together like that and to make people realize what's important and what's not is for electricity to disappear. Think about that one. You no longer can just sit and scroll on your phone. Now you got to sit
Yeah.
and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
How are you going to get directions somewhere?
You have to ask.
You can't punch it in on your phone.
You have to
How
ask.
do we operate without a phone? We looked at maps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
you ask
true.
somebody for directions.
It's true. It's so true. And now Joe Rogan, do you see the latest statement from Joe Rogan where he's on about the robots? And how there's a state and they're giving the robots the guns now and everything.
Yeah.
It's just
Artificial intelligence.
yeah. Is this mad? What's the way it's all progressing is just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep. Well,
This is a scary world we live in. Scary world we
Well,
live in. But
I mean, we're doing it to ourselves.
mm,
I mean, why don't we just go back and reflect and go back inside each other? You go inside yourself and figure out what's important.
yeah,
Spending more time with people who matter, doing things that matter more,
yeah,
and then also working on yourself more. Whatever it is.
yeah.
I do tons of research. I read a lot,
Mm,
and I research different subjects. I spend a lot of time researching. I no longer watch movies because there aren't very many good movies anymore.
no.
So I don't even watch documentaries so much. I watch some if there's a good one, but I do a lot of research on different subjects all the time.
Yeah.
I could get books or well,
Do
you
you-
could Google anything
Yeah.
today.
Do you now relate everything that you're researching now? Do you put that back into your training when you're teaching? Because
Yeah.
I can see it in the
Well,
seminars. I'm on about
it's
more so
not
your
just
classes
that.
as well.
But it's also health subjects.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good information out on different products,
Uh-huh.
on different methods of breathing, meditation, different meditations. The Wim Hof method now for everybody's doing Wim Hof, which is a great thing. I think they're learning how to breathe and go into ice bath. Everyone's taking ice baths.
That's the day I remember doing that with you in 2007 in after fight practice once. This is when you were getting ready for your comeback fight.
Yeah, always. If you ice your testicles, it increases your testosterone exponentially.
Really?
Yes. When you overheat,
Yeah.
when you're too hot, it supposedly, I don't know if it kills your testosterone, but it doesn't produce it like it does when it's cold.
When it's cold, yeah.
So they were doing a study on icing your testicles
Right.
at nighttime before you go to bed.
Oh.
Yeah. And it helps your libido,
Yeah.
raise your libido, and also your testosterone levels.
Nice.
So
Learn
things
something
like
new
that,
every day.
yeah,
You
things
learn
like
something new
that.
every day.
Yeah, and things to eat and things not to eat,
Yeah.
and if I ever get an idea, which they just come randomly, then I research it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Or if I see something, I look it up,
Yeah.
because I want to know.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah. And training methods, now everyone's an expert on Instagram. So, I mean, you can't teach anything without, getting hacked, having somebody make a snide comment to you, and then you look this guy up and he's got like 2 followers and you're like, this guy's a bot,
Oh,
mate.
Yeah.
heckler or whatever. Half these guys that like you have 0 followers.
Keyboard warriors.
But these guys are making snide comments, and you're just trying to do something that
Good.
that enlightens people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that's supposed to be for. It's not to go, hey, look at me, look at what I can do. It's to, hey, here's something that you probably don't do that will help you when you're grappling to surprise people. Here's something that should help you.
Yeah.
Here's a technique. Here's a training method. Here's an idea, something to look after or watch out for.
Yeah. There we have it. No. I appreciate you sharing your experience with us, giving us the mindset, everything that you've been through. Because when I started these podcasts, I was trying to do it to inspire people. Because there's a lot of people that were struggling when we were in lockdown, that they're struggling with their mental health.
Mental health is a huge one. I was walking down the street in Costa Mesa, down by the beach, and I could not believe I saw like 5 or 6 people just walking down the street having arguments with themselves.
Wow.
Just talking to themselves, just having full-on conversation. I saw a guy staring at the back of a car, saw his reflection. He was arguing with himself in the window. He saw his face and he was fighting with himself.
That's crazy.
And you want to laugh, but
this is what everyone's
at
going through.
first you laugh, but then you go,
you see
that guy's got a real issue.
Exactly. And this is what I'm trying to say, because obviously he's trying to do this to improve people and try and inspire them to get out there and achieve something. And that's why I get people like yourself and other guests here on these podcasts to inspire them and give them some words of wisdom, which you've clearly done. But if there's one piece of advice you can give someone that's listening to this right now, struggling with his mental or her mental health, what would you advise them to do?
Exercise hard.
Yeah.
Every day. Exercise is free.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best ways to beat mental illness is to just train your body really hard every day. Do something that you love to do, or put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Make yourself uncomfortable every single day, and push yourself and make yourself fight through it.
Absolutely.
Give yourself some reps. Give yourself a destination to walk to.
Yeah.
Okay, look at all those stairs. I'm gonna go up and down those 5 times. Whatever it is. If it's holding your breath underwater, that makes you sleep great. Water deprivation, air deprivation underwater. Like I used to go in the 12-foot deep pool, and I go down to the bottom, and I would just hold my breath as long as I could, and I'd come up, and I did it before my last fight, and I literally woke up sucking my thumb
Wow.
like a little kid. I woke up like, and I go, goo goo gaga, baby, want milk, and I thought I was like 2. I was literally like,
Wow.
yeah, I thought I was a little kid again. I go, wow, how come I'm having like kid dreams? I was fasting because I had to lose 15 pounds in 4 days.
Jeez.
I was fasting, and I was doing air deprivation, deep water air deprivation holds.
Wow.
So then after my fight, I was like trying to get it back, and it's the fasting mixed with the underwater holds
Yeah.
is what make you have unbelievable dreams. It's the forced air into your body and your lungs being compressed, heavily compressed. Yeah, with no food to mess up your mind. Nothing in your body. God. That's why they say fasting is good, because it brings you the closest to Creator.
Yeah.
Is through fasting. That's why fasting is important. I call intermittent fasting, like the 16, 17 hour fast.
Yeah.
You stop eating at what time, and then when's your next meal? That's really valuable. And not only that, it helps your body.
Yeah. Breathe. It helps your body breathe, yeah.
And the breathing is extremely important.
You've got many highlights in your whole life, and you've got some incredible stories from when you used to compete in Japan, America, all across the world, from having your own fighters, training them to be not the next to be the next Erik Paulson, to then having your students become instructors and open up their own schools across the world, to marrying Tanya, to having your kids, to everything, having a second chance in life. If you had to pick one thing, what would you say has been the best highlight of your whole life?
Traveling and getting to see all my friends regularly. That's what I really missed when during lockdown. Is I couldn't see all. It's nice to see my friends all over, and whether you training helps it. I mean, we all have that in mind. We get to train, and then we get to hang out and laugh and tell jokes and pick up where we left off last time.
That's it. That's the beauty of it, and seeing the world. The world.
Traveling is great, but also the best give back is when you help other people, and then you watch people grow and blossom, and then just like, look at you're doing spectacular. Look at all your stuff. You came in as a little bright-eyed kid
I remember,
who ate sushi and got bad bubble guts.
The
first time you ate sushi. I gave him sushi.
So I came from a Thai boxing background, and I said, I'm going to give this MMA stuff a shot. And I remember doing my research, and I came across you, and like I saw you doing these tours in the UK. This is around 2004 and 5, and I was like, man, this is awesome. I remember research and watching your fights. This is before like there was social media, there was no Facebook or anything. So this is before getting the VHSs and the DVDs. And I was watching that, and I finally met you, and you said to come out to, I remember it very clearly. I was in Bournemouth. We were in Bournemouth at Phil Norman's seminar, and you're like, come to the school. And I was like, okay, cool. So I flew out, and then I went to your school for the first time, and this is when you were in camp. You were in fight camp as well, because you were fighting that, forget the guy's name. You were in 2006 or 7 it was.
Yeah.
You were in fight.
HD Net fights.
That's
Mark
the
Cuban.
one.
I fought for Mark Cuban.
Yes, I remember that one. And then my first day I went to fight practice. Had no idea what the hell fight practice was going to be. Went to fight practice. It was intense. And you made us do the puke drill. Where we got 3 minutes, you spin around for the first 30 seconds, jab cross, drop cross.
Knockout survival. Yeah. That's a knockout simulation.
Then wrestle, then knees, then wrestle, then kick, and it's just constant like that. And then I was so hungry after training, they took me to sushi, and that's why I don't eat sushi anymore, because they didn't agree with me.
Well, if you've never had raw fish and then you eat it, your stomach goes, what the hell?
And then I had to practice afterwards as well.
Yeah, you got to practice your Kegels. It was. It smelled like the whole gym smelled like sushi
Yeah.
mixed with bananas and plums.
Literally.
And what else? Sulfur.
Yeah. No, but Eric, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I appreciate
It's not
you
that
I appreciate you sharing everything with us and your experience and having a second chance. And it's an
Yeah.
absolute pleasure to have you here.
And
So
it's definitely God given.
yeah,
You know,
for sure.
I was spared for a reason. I kept asking. I was meditating. I go, why was I spared? Why was I spared?
Yeah.
And the message I kept getting was don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do, because there's more things you can do
Yeah.
than you can't. And when you focus on what you can't do, that's a woe is me attitude, and you can't have a woe is me attitude because you're here for a reason.
Yeah.
And so being spared was for that reason. And the other message I kept getting was work on your healing and heal yourself first. And once you're healed, we'll tell you what to do. And then I kept getting the word, kept getting the message, inspire, inspire, inspire. And then I go, what does that mean? They go, aspire to inspire, aspire to inspire. So they said, you need to read, you need to write,
Yeah.
you need to shoot videos, and you need to talk. And if you can do that, that will help other people through inspiration, through what you've gone through,
Yeah.
through your demos, through your talking, your joke telling, and then try to enlighten people with some new stuff.
Amazing.
Thank you.
You so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.